Mental Health Monday.
I tell folks that the best thing you can do in any relationship, because generally we make this mistake of only mourning or being upset when we've lost a relationship in terms of who we're dating, but your friendships are just as important as who you're dating.
Yeah.
That, like, when you look back at it, hold on to the good times, because like in every relationship there was a point where it's like, you know what, that was a good time, but also understand why things didn't work out and move forward with that. So be proud of what you were a part of, but don't feel guilty or don't feel enraged at what you no longer have access to. Because when it comes to your relationships, anger really comes from, I no longer have access to that person or what that was anymore. And that's where the real frustration comes from people.
Yeah. For me, I think of it like this. Like, I have a lot of people, because of the way that I process my life, and we talked about this in the last interview, I have a tendency to disappear. And so there are a lot of people that I love and care about that I don't talk to often. And so, like, that's why I'm like, I don't really see those distances as losses, because if any one of them were to call me or reach out to me, like, I would answer no question. Like, I don't, it's very rare that I completely sever ties with people, and they have to be very specific in fractions, or, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But for the most part, no, it's just, this shit is hard, bro.
Yeah.
This life is hard, and it's stomping a lot of people out, and a lot of people are carrying a lot of pain, a lot of loss. I have friends that have just, lost their parents. I have friends that, have been going through severe trauma, and sometimes we get into the space where it's like, oh, I haven't heard from this person, they're not prioritizing me. But on the other end, like, if you knew what's happening, if you knew what was going on, you'd understand, like, it's never personal, It's just people are struggling. And I think the attitude could shift to, like, okay, if I haven't heard from someone in a while, let me see how they're doing it. Check in and make sure that they're okay,
I think I kind of had that moment with a friend a couple of weeks ago. Been reaching out to this person for like years. When I say years, I'm talking about like maybe 6-7 years of, hey, what's good? How you been? Hey, what's going on? How you doing? Hey. And they finally opened up to me yesterday, and it was like I had to sit down with myself. I had like a whole bunch of stuff that I wanted to do, and I stopped everything that I was doing for the day. And it was heavy because I think unfortunately, when you learn to be a private person, or you learn to be okay with something that's not okay, when you finally open up to your friends that have been asking forever, hey, how are you doing? And I'm just maintaining, like, how are you doing? There's a certain point that when they do finally open up, you kind of have to upgrade the person's profile, and you have to sit with what they've either been going through in silence or they've been keeping to themselves, and how not healthy that probably was for them. And then you also have to come to terms with, like, damn, that was probably really hard to have all that on your shoulders, and like try and find a positive outlook as someone's friend, especially when it comes to their relationships or who they're trying to be. I don't owe anybody in this story loyalty. What I do owe you is friendship, an ear that's willing to listen, and also the capacity to not always have the answer, but still let you know that I'll create a space for you. So when it comes to like a lot of stuff that you've gone through and the people that you've met up to this point, have you had anybody that's made space for you coming out of the dark space you used to perpetually exist in, and say, hey, it's okay to sit at the picnic table and just enjoy the grass?
Yeah. Well, you have been one of those people.
I appreciate that.
you know, I had to have some real conversations with some friends because, you know, I had somehow, because of my, I would say partly because of my, you know, my private, you know, my tendency to be private and my tendency to kind of keep my feelings to myself. Some people tend to see me as like the strong friend. And so, you know, they'll call me or talk to me about the stuff that they're going through, and meanwhile I'm like trying to process their stuff, but I'm trying to process my stuff.
Yeah.
And because of that dynamic, it ended up resulting in me constantly having to process somebody else's stuff and never really having the opportunity to voice and communicate what's, you know, happening with me. And that ultimately built up a lot of resentment in me, and it made me want to shut down. It made me want to shut people out. I didn't want to help anybody. I didn't want to talk to anybody. You know, I just wanted to take care of myself.
You ever saw that meme or that video with the little girl that says "fuck you," and she's like just chilling on the floor? It's easy to become that.
But I realized that part of that is because I wasn't taking responsibility for my feelings by privatizing my feelings. I wasn't owning them, and I wasn't claiming them. I wasn't claiming my own space.
Yeah.
And so people were kind of coming in because they're claiming their space.
Yeah.
They're doing their due diligence, but I'm not doing mine.
If you don't put up boundaries, they'll take, because no one's claiming that.
Yeah. So I had to really kind of like step up and be like, look, this is what I need from you. You know, if we're gonna do this, this is what I need from you.
Yeah.
And you know, so I think that it's going to take all of us to be honest with ourselves about what we need, and being honest with each other about what we need in order to keep that balance, you know, flowing. You know, it's going to require us to do our own work. We can't rely on our friends to do the work for us. You know, our friends are not our therapists. And I had to learn that too. Like, you know, it's okay. Yes, reach out to your friends. That's what your social network is for.
Let them know what's up.
Let them know, communicate. But also on your end, recognize, okay, I have a problem here. It is my problem. What do I need to do to solve my problem? You know?
And then after that, you can delegate sharing the burden of your problem after figuring that out.
Yes.